Hello and welcome to today's episode of Chronicles of a Nigerian Woman. On today's episode, I'll be reading Meredith's story. Take a listen. Let me start my story by confessing that I am the other woman. That person people love to hate. I have received so much negativity all through my life, and I'm used to it. I just think it's important to tell my own side of things. When I met Moses, I was 25, a young lady full of life and hopes and dreams. He was 42 and very successful. He ran his own mortgage bank, which he started after resigning from his job at a commercial bank at the age of 35. After 12 years. Not only was he successful, he was one of those men who dressed the part and looked the part. His presence was imposing. I was hired by his bank in its 4th year of operations right after I finished my NYSC as a marketing staff. Moses knew his onions so well. He was a born salesman and he took on the training of the marketing and sales team by himself. I was enthralled by him, not because of his physical qualities, but because he was so smart and inspiring. I was a willing protege who lapped up everything Moses said, determined to make him proud as my boss. I read every material I could find on sales, listened to videos and trainers, and I even took paid self-development classes. And within 2 years, I was one of the best marketers in the bank. There was no deal I could not close and no pitch I could not master. I had always been a confident speaker, but I learned the art of selling and I did it well. Of course, Moses noticed me, but all we had was a good boss and subordinate relationship. After a while, I became part of the small team that accompanied him to make important presentations or pitches. We focused on mortgages for medium-sized corporate organizations, and we had to travel sometimes. It was during those trips that we began to get closer. I knew he was married, of course. Everyone knew about his beautiful wife and their 3 children. She even came to the office from time to time. I was not really interested in the idea of marriage. My personal goal was to make a lot of money and build my own company. My friends had always told me from school days that I was masculine in my approach to life. Anyway, I was not planning for what happened between Moses and I. We started out by just talking. He seemed impressed by my work ethic and wanted to know more about what drove me and my plans. And the more he knew, the more interesting I was to him. He often told me that very few young women thought the way I did or had my kind of drive. His wife was 4 years younger than he was, and according to him, she was the kind of woman who was content to take care of the children and support him domestically. He felt that was exactly the kind of person he needed in his life, and he loved her for her role and the fact that she did such a great job at it. But she did not challenge him mentally the way I did. The kind of questions I asked, the kind of kick he got from watching me work, he said they gave him a kind of high that he did not get from his wife. She was serene and calm and safe, but I inspired him and drove him. It took me 6 months to accede to his advances. I thought about it carefully and I decided it worked for me. I was not interested in any way in taking him from his wife or from his family. I knew my place as the side attraction, and I was happy to play that role. On my part, I got the right amount of emotional attention I needed without the commitment. I even helped him with buying gifts for his wife and kids and doing whatever he could to enhance his relationship with them. Sometimes he told me about their domestic issues, and I gave him my perspective of things, which helped them settle some of them. As much as possible, we tried to keep our relationship civil in the office, but with time, people guessed, although we never confirmed it to anyone. I was about 28 when our relationship started, and we have carried on since then. The business grew, and I also grew into top management. Nobody could fault my ascension because I earned it, and everybody knew I was great at my job. The gossip about us was all around in whispers, but never confirmed until I decided to have a child at the age of 42. I told him it was the least he could give me since I did not have any other relationship, and he eventually agreed to give me what I wanted. I went off birth control and I got pregnant almost immediately. I went to the US to have my baby boy, and I stayed for 6 months in total to avoid too much intrusion when the baby was born. He bore a striking semblance to Moses. There was no denying his paternity, and it was at that time that he decided to confess to his wife. Of course, she had heard the rumors, so she wasn't surprised. For all the years I had been part of the bank, she had maintained a very cool attitude towards me, so I knew that she knew. But like I said, I was not disturbing her or trying to usurp her place. As soon as I had my son, I got my tubes tied, and Moses and I decided it was best I left the bank. I had shares in the business as an executive member of the board, and I took some out to set up a real estate development company of my own, co-owned with Moses, who also invested in it. That is my son's inheritance, so that I don't have to get into any kind of tussle with his wife in case of any eventuality. We're not married, but we have continued our relationship. I am 50 now, and I have everything that I want: a thriving business, a relationship that works, and my son. I felt coldness from the people at the bank who were loyal to Moses' wife all through my stay there. But one thing no one could dispute was my work ethic and my knowledge. I earned everything I have, and I am proud of myself. People may judge me, but I think everybody should do what works for them, as long as they are not harming anyone else. And that is exactly what I have done. It is Moses' business to handle his wife and to make his own choices. I made mine while making sure that I did not get in the way of his obligations to her and their children. So I am at peace with myself. What are your thoughts about Meredith's story? Please share in the comments below. Remember to like this video, to share it with someone else who will find it interesting or useful, and definitely remember to subscribe to my channel. Till I come your way again next time. Ciao!